We've probably all heard the saying that relationships are work, but isn't supposed to just be fun. Or is a serious thing that we need to work at? Is work or play? On the one hand, we have hand jobs and blow jobs which sound like work, but we also have toys which suggests that is play. When you get down to it, is like the rest of relationships, it takes some effort to have a good time. This is especially true when it's repeated with a romantic partner. Hookups often involve less effort, which probably goes a long way towards explaining why they're too often not as satisfying as one or both people would hope. To make those one-timers, or first-timers, more interesting requires a lot of clear communication and negotiation so both partners are getting their needs met, since you don't have the advantage of history to know what this person likes usually. Hollywood, romance novels, and all portray the fantasy that amazing just happens. Throw two, or more, people together and the chemistry just ignites. As soon as the clothes start coming off, the participants psychically determine the other person's preferences, harder or softer, faster or slower, what before what, what's a total turn-on and what's not even an option. Or perhaps they just do the same thing to every UAL partner and assume that it will be received well. Even a waitress at a so-so restaurant will ask how you want your burger cooked, but is supposed to be one size fits all. Sexual effort as rewarded sex can be amazingly fun and maybe one of the few places that adults allow themselves to play, let their imaginations roam, and cut loose from the sledge of responsibility. So let's talk about how to do the work to make you more playful. Most of this will focus on within a relationship, but the same lessons apply to hookups, although there are definite differences. Source: 123RF. Great requires effort beforehand to maintain good feelings between you and your partner so that you are both interested in having together. This involves lots of non-UAL matters. Being a jerk or leaving a mess in the kitchen may tamp down the fires of passion. Not that any of us can be expected to be perfect, but good behavior outside of bed tends to get you more action in bed. Or another way of putting it is that foreplay begins when the last UAL encounter ends. Say if you are interested in having more with your partner, you may want to make a good effort in keeping them generally happy, or at least happy with you. It's also worth having some direct conversations about what sorts of things turn each of you on or off. What hits the gas and what hits the brakes. Sometimes we need to focus on doing more of the things that turn our partner on, like doing some small nice gesture like bringing a cup of coffee in the morning. Sometimes we are better off reducing some of the turn-offs, like emptying and loading the dishwasher so a messy kitchen doesn't feel like an end-of-the-night chore. It's a lot easier to get our partner in the mood if we know exactly what will do the trick. And, of course, if we want to get ourselves in the mood, we can also intentionally create those circumstances. If it's important to you, then your actions should look like it is. Our priorities are not what we say, they are what we do. Some of the pre-work may also involve some honest discussions about how to make it a great experience for each of you when you do have. A surprising number of couples don't have these conversations, turning into shooting in the dark, both figuratively and literally. Sensuality can be such a sensitive subject, these can be difficult conversations to have if we are worried about our partner's response. I have written about this in previous posts, including ask better questions about sex. If necessary, put in the effort to make these into productive conversations. The work doesn't necessarily end when the clothes start coming off. We need to do the work to communicate well during. We need to be clear about what we want and what we don't. We need to give feedback as needed, and nicely. And we need to make an effort to read our partner well and to ask for feedback when unsure, and to be sure to take it well without feeling criticized. We need to not personalize or throw blame around for any problems that can develop in the imperfect, real world that we live in. For example, a bout of erectile difficulties can send the guy mentally reeling into self-flagellation about his manliness and his partner into self-doubt about his or her hotness or technique. Source: 123RF. If you want someone to want to have with you again, you need to put in the effort to give them a good time, since it's hard to get repeat business with lazy or selfish. However, if you make it a performance test where you measure your UAL prowess by how long you can go at it, how quickly or how many times your partner orgasms, or some other performance metric, then it becomes more about stoking or assuaging your ego than providing a positive experience for your partner. Good is personalized to the moment. If your partner isn't interested in having an orgasm, or whatever, but is otherwise enjoying herself or himself, then don't push them to make the experience into something more. Low pressure will make them more likely to give you another at it next time. Some people find the work too hard or don't know what they are supposed to do, and instead avoid with their partner. Or perhaps they don't bring themselves to it, making the only okay